The Old Testament includes 17 books of the prophets. These are books of the Bible written about people, called prophets, God chose to do two things. They delivered his message of the coming of Jesus, saying, "The seed God promised to Adam and Eve in the garden, who will crush the head of the serpent and conquer sin, death, and the devil. He's coming." The second thing the prophets had in common was that they delivered God's judgment of their sin by warning the people that God will punish them for worshiping other gods, for not trusting that God is their God, and for breaking God's commandments. Let's look at a few prophets to get a better understanding of their role. We'll start with the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah has some familiar verses that you may have heard in songs and not realized where they came from. Listen to Isaiah 9:6. "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." The prophet Isaiah's words prophesying Jesus Christ were used in Handel's Messiah, a song you may have heard sung around Christmas time. And while there are beautiful words of comfort and promise in Isaiah, there are also many examples of the prophet delivering God's word of judgment. Listen to the first verses in chapter 1 of Isaiah. "Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord has spoken. Children have I reared and brought up, but they have rebelled against me. They have forsaken the Lord." And this rhythm, this pattern of speaking, the Lord's two words of judgment and mercy, remain throughout all the books of the prophets. Habakkuk gives us another example of this prophetic pattern. This very short book starts with the prophet crying out to God, asking for help as the Israelites suffered destruction and violence. God answers Habakkuk's cries by telling him he, God, is the one who is raising up the brutal army of the Chaldeans to destroy the Israelites because they have sinned against the Lord. Of course, this is shocking to hear. God is telling his prophet that he is the one responsible for the Israelites' suffering. Habakkuk's response might be surprising. He didn't deny the Lord's accusations or defend the Israelites' sin. Habakkuk confessed faith in the mercy of God. In the midst of terrible suffering, he declared that the righteous live by faith. And in wrath, God remembers mercy. These powerful words of faith in the mercy of God ring true to us today. As all the prophets declared, God convicts us of our sin, our idolatry, our inability to follow God's command. But this is not the final word the prophets or God have for us. That final word is mercy, promise, the forgiveness of all our sin.